Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, for another review, Ashley rejoins, as today we are getting ready to give you our non-spoiler review for the new series, Star Wars Tales of the Empire, coming to Disney Plus. May the 4th be with you. Ashley, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So as you know, or may have kind of caught on to this if you haven't seen the trailer, Tales of the Empire, not quite Tales of the Jedi, since like we're getting the other side of the coin here, but nonetheless, um, Dave and the Star Wars team has just been giving us answers to a lot of questions you may have had. And this comes back now with a 6-part miniseries because there are 12 episodes, which honestly, beggars can't be choosers, but for 12 minutes, man, you're getting so much. And I kind of had to have a pulse check with myself in some of these episodes. Like, why did I feel so much in such little time? But again, it's just to Dave and the team continuously giving the Star Wars fans and himself too, because he's such a fan, and the content that we want and we've been asking for. And that brings us to two characters, the tale of two fates, I would like to call it, in Barriss Offee, and on the other end of that, Morgan Elsbeth, where we see these two stories in two different time periods, shall I say, but ultimately the stories are almost like trajectories of one another. Nonetheless, we're getting extra content or extra stories or extra information about them. Now we'll talk about Barrison specifically in a second, but Morgan is who we just obviously just recently seen her fate in the Ahsoka live action series. But Barris has been a character that everybody's been asking, where the hell has she been? And I mean, people have been like, seriously, I mean, there's some good people out there that's been doing some investigative works, but you know, anytime anybody's seen if it wasn't a video game or just anything, people were suspecting, is that Barris? But we've gotten a lot of answers, a lot of questions answered, and probably some more questions at the end of it. But for you, Ashley, to give you some time here, let's just start off with the basics. We got 6 episodes, 12-minute each. What did you think about it? How did you feel about it? And ultimately, were you satisfied?
I'm gonna work backwards. Yes, I was satisfied. I really love Tales of the Jedi. So I was excited for this. And I was like, if it's anywhere near what we got last year, it's gonna be great. And it is. Star Wars animation, I think, in general, is just like top tier Star Wars storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, we just finished the Bad Batch, and so this is gonna fill that void that we're all feeling right now, missing that kind of quality animation and storytelling. But I loved it, and I like that this year they did it, at least if it airs the way we screened it, right? The first 3 episodes are Morgan's and the last 3 are Barriss's. And I kind of like that versus how last year it was interwoven and kind of went back and forth between the two stories. But it was like you said, like I had to also like take a minute to just be like, whew, and just kind of sit with what we were getting. And just, my God, the animation. And when I wrote up my review, I was writing about just the environments. Everything was so purposeful in this series to convey that this is definitely Tales of the Empire, the cold, heartless, they don't care about nobody and nothing empire, versus the Jedi ones that had, you know, light and bright and hope. This was literally the Empire Strikes Back, if we're talking old trilogy, like vibes and feeling.
Yeah, and they didn't massage you into the story. I think the first 5 to 10 minutes, or well, that's an exaggeration because they're only 12 minutes. So definitely, maybe in more condensed terms, maybe the first to 3 minutes of it, you get so much action, and also you're kind of left with some very instantly jaw-dropping moments. And as you mentioned, it is 6 episodes, and it's three parts Barriss, and then 3 parts Morgan. But yeah, you come out the gates, and they're not holding back, and you're entirely right with the tone. This is Tales of the Empire, so like you are going to see Some very brutal but like cruel moments, and
Mm-hmm.
these moments shape these characters, and not only does it shape these characters, but I think it may be a moment of you sort of happen to have a moment of self-reflection on your initial thoughts about these characters. Like Morgan, we know, obviously recently with Ahsoka, and whether your thoughts about her and her malicious tactics and her ambitions, understanding what she been through as a kid
Oh
here,
yeah,
because
it
you're
was
getting
brutal.
all of that. Yeah, to the point you kind of almost feel like, yeah, sure, it was bad, but like
I
you
can see it.
understand. Yeah.
I can see it. I can see why she did that. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the thing. I say this over and over and over. When it comes to Star Wars is always about conflict. So I think at times where you want to root for the good guys, you want to root for the bad guys, and those perceptions of who's good and who's bad all the time and forever flipping. This is just another case of it where you can say like, all right, Morgan was definitely somebody I didn't really take a light to in Ahsoka, but now I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I get it now. And like certainly with the conflict, you do see the good sides, the loving side, shall I say, and even the protector side. So like you're really getting a lot. And then we're talking so much about Morgan, but Morgan voice is more, excuse me, the voice of Morgan is being repraised by Diana Lee Inosanto. So from live action to voice acting, you know, the thing about Star Wars and all of its content is that they're going to try to keep the people who voice these folks or who is giving life to these folks as close as they can to the project. So having her back there definitely. And also got to talk about the range of voice acting there too, because we're seeing Morgan in different parts of her life. So like the continuity between younger to more mature. I believe she did voice the younger version of her.
I
I
think so.
don't.
It sounded like her,
It did
just pitched up a little bit.
exactly. So like the voice acting crew up and down the board, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more, really brought it. But just to talk about that, Diana, like she absolutely brought and gave so much life back to this character that we were just ready to be like, all right, cool. Where's the second season of Ahsoka? But now you kind of want to go back and watch the first season and say, I kind of feel a little different about some of these actions now. I know that was my first reaction, is I wanted to kind of see how did I feel emotionally about what happened in Ahsoka now based on this. You talked about the animation. I don't think there's but so much we could say about that because you already know what it is. But talk about the second part, because you know, as you are truly my Clone Wars gal, Barriss, the big question. And again, I said it earlier, every single time, if there was an Inquisitor on a video game or whatever it was, people were just like, it's her, it's her, it's her. I'm not here to say or deny or whatever her fate may be, but we do get answers. So it's for the folks who have been having their detective hats on for years. Barriss is back and we have answers.
Yeah.
Not get into too much detail. Talk about Barriss coming back. Talk about your excitement to get some clarity to the story and the fate, and ultimately, what did you think about the final 3 episodes?
Okay, so I haven't been a super detective, but Barriss has always been that big question mark. And canonically, we don't know what until now. We didn't know what happened to her after Order 66. All we know is that originally it was kind of storyboarded that she'd die, but Dave was like, "No, I got a plan," and that was the end of it, right? For however many years it's been. So when I saw that this was going to be partly her story, I was like, I was like, here's Dave's plan. That man, I swear, they talk about Marvel having the long game. I think Dave Filoni has an even longer game when it comes to his Star Wars characters.
And honestly, I think it's very safe to say if he says something, you can believe it. He has the most legitimacy and credibility to giving life to these characters and giving us the stories that we want without a question. If Dave said in any media, whether it's a con panel, a passing through something on Twitter, if he said it's probably going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we got that, the extra season of Clone Wars. It's how we got the Bad Batch, because that was always there. It just wasn't the time. So but yeah, it was exciting to see what happens to her, and I don't want to spoil it, but she walks a different path than Morgan does. She does some different choice. She has some different choices. This whole series is about choices.
Yeah.
Morgan made a choice. Barriss makes a choice. Barriss turns from a choice, which shows some strength there. And it was real. Just overall, it was just a compelling season and story with her. And I like that they did bring in, the Grand Inquisitor and stuff, because of, like you said, all those like, oh, is that her in a helmet in a Ahsoka? But it wasn't. It was never confirmed. So I like how Dave knows. Like he's like, oh, you thought this? Well, I'm gonna make sure this is why you probably thought this, but I'm also gonna tell you why you were wrong to think that. So, but no, it was good. I liked it.
And you talk about the Grand Inquisitor, you might as well start to talk about some of the voice actors who also return. And it's almost to a point now, it's kind of just beating a dead horse by making these statements, but like our favorites come back. That's the thing here. You never have to worry about that. Our favorites come back, but we should give them love for what it's worth. And none of these are spoilers because it's all completely listed, whether it's IMDb or anything you've seen online. But yeah, talk about the characters that we do see and the voice actors with them.
I mean, come on, we got to start with Thrawn. I think last time I was on here, we did Ahsoka, right? And we talked about how much Thrawn is like the man. So anytime you want to bring Thrawn back in animation or live action, I'm here for it. Lars, of course. Yeah. And just as soon as, like, for people who know the story, like, I knew when Thrawn was going to pop in because of where the story was going. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. So as soon as those, it's just, you heard the voice, you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With Jason Isaacs is the Grand Inquisitor. Mm-hmm. Just like they didn't miss a step, like it's been a while since we've heard him at least in that role. No, it was like he picked up right where it left off. He didn't lose any of it at all. I know people love Grievous. God, he was terrifying, right? In that first episode, like, holy crap, out the gate. I was like, oh, this isn't the like wheezy Grievous that people make fun of. This is why Grievous was as formidable as he was.
Bingo.
He came in hard versus, that wheeze. Oh man, it was us. I could honestly gush all day about just those three, to be honest.
Yeah. Matthew Wood voicing Grievous. I gotta mention Rhea, who voices the fourth sister, and the reason why is because there is some insane exchange of words, moments, dialogue, like just moments, period, with Rhea across from Meredith, whose voice is Barriss. So that's obviously conversations with Barriss and the fourth sister. There's some things that happen here. But yeah, I think knowing that which is something we don't hear too often, they work the booth together. So you feel it in these moments. We've been, especially in COVID, a lot of things have been done remote or isolated in terms of booth sessions. So people are reading their lines and the engineers are getting in there and they're doing their things. I was not expecting to know, but once I did know, I was like, oh, it makes sense. So expect a lot of like action-packed moments with why just exchange of words.
The episode 6, that's what you're talking about, right? Episode 6 when they have their
So and then and you mentioned Lars, so that pretty much is it. Outside of Wing, who's voiced by Wing. So there's that. But overall, man, I think it's criminal if you didn't take the time to watch all 6 episodes. Dropping on May 4th. I mean, come on now. What else do you have to do on May 4th but to spend, I don't know, 12 times 6? I'm not going to do the math, but y'all know what it is. I don't take no time to get through these episodes that are going to, not only as a fan, if you're a hardcore fan, a deep fan, deep into the lore between the books, the games, and animated and live action, then like, yeah, you're getting answers. And if you're just somebody who just picked up on the live action stuff and you watched Ahsoka, you loved it, you watched The Mandalorian and so on, if you want to get more, backstory to Morgan, this is for you. If you're just looking for extra content, it's for you. I really can't figure out a way to deter anybody from watching these short episodes that give you so much that you're going to be hooked. And by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're done, you're going to be like, okay, what's next? Which brings me to my final question to you. If we got Tales of the Empire and we had Tales of the Jedi, what do you think they're going to do next here in this medium?
Oh my God. Did you read my review? I just posted it like 30 minutes ago. I literally
not.
ended with that. I was like, I don't know what he wants to do next, but I'm here for another Tales of the ? It could be more stories with Ahsoka and Dooku. It could be more stories with Morgan. It could be more story. It just, I don't know. But whatever he wants to do, sign me up in advance. I don't need to see a trailer. I don't even know I don't even need to know what's in it to know that whatever it is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Once I come off my high, I'll be able to give an answer to that. I got to figure out what other questions were left unanswered.
I like how you put me on the spot, but you don't even have an answer for that question.
I mean, you might have had a little bit more time to think it out. I'll say this though, that there is still some very inevitable encounters that I need. I need particular characters to catch up. And we got a lot of that on Ahsoka with Kanan and Ahsoka and them. There's some more, especially our hardcore Clone Wars fans. There's some more that needs to happen. And that at some point, some way, I think we live in a great time with Dave knowing it's going to come at some point. But that's what I need. I need some more of those, like, holy crap, we're here. We're here. What a time to be alive. But until then, you all got an opportunity to check out what we've already seen. That's Star Wars Tales of the Empire, all 6 episodes coming to Disney Plus May 4th. Get in the comments, let us know your thoughts, your excitement, even your predictions at this point that's going to be answered in just a few days. Let us know all of that in the comments below, and join and be a part of the conversation once it drops, and we can actually talk some spoilers after May 4th in there. So let us know your thoughts about everything until then. But thank you so much for watching. That's been Ashley. I'm Najir. Our information is in the description below, and we'll see you back very soon with more reviews and content here at Big Gold Belt Media.